Hi everyone, nice to see you all here, and yeah, it's nice to be back to these events because the COVID broke everything, and we need to rebuild lots of stuff after it. Again, nice to see the faces. Welcome to Picsart. Welcome to our office. Thanks for the organizers, internal and external, for bringing this event to Picsart. As already introduced myself, I'm Sargis, working at the Picsart as a director of quality engineering. Today we'll talk about some quality stuff. Testing stuff, quality engineering stuff, quality assurance engineering stuff, whatever you want to say. I like to say it as a quality engineering, but you understand as you want, because as naming, I don't care about the naming, how you call your position, because and the aim and the position, what it have to do, it's overall the same. Okay. So you can see my picture here, it's me. So whenever you forget my face, it will be in the presentation. Yeah, and let's go ahead and do some historical overview. What I usually like to do is like comparing our work with our life. Because whenever you do in life, you do the same in the work. It's just a different, aspects. And I always say like all the people, they behave at work the same as they behave in the professional life. It's the same as like if someone is responsible in the life, it cannot be like unresponsible, in the work. So why usually in my talks I like to do like parallel comparison with the life. So going ahead about like talking about the quality engineering testing, software testing, again, whenever we will say it, I would like to start from the beginning and draw the parallel lines with the history, with the life, etc. So whenever we talk about the testing, what is the testing? So what this action is responsible for. If you dig like deeper to the history, we can find out that the testing was even before the world exist, because the first testing happened when Eve like tried the apple, and they find out the use case. Of course it failed, but who cares? I mean, we have the test result and we have the world out there, and yeah, this is the epic failure. So till now everyone talks about the failure. Yeah. And whenever we like step forward and into the same story, we find out that even after the story, there was another like testing story, which is basically when Noah sends the raven and then the dove, and again the first test case was failed, but second one was succeed. So this one was the first one of the first epic successes, like test successes in the world. So why I'm bringing these examples, I just want to bring all of your attention on the testing action. Like life is a test. People are testers. Like it's and another saying that I would like to say, life is a test for you to be and become your highest self. What we do in the work, in the software development, we do exactly the same. We make sure that the software quality level is in the highest point. So it's again very abstract to say because based on the product, based on the company, these measurements could be different. Yeah, and in one place, like something can be acceptable and something cannot be acceptable. But anyway, whatever we do, we just make sure that the quality level of the product meets our expectation, and it will meet our users' needs. Why we are talking about this role that we have, saying quality engineering or quality assurance engineering, taking a note from maybe 25 years ago, starting when this profession started to become popular. Lots of people think that the statements are for quality engineering. And one of them is like the team member who is finding all the bugs. Like whenever you ask who are you, what is your responsibility? Or an evil of the software development, because they have to, like, be always in the conflict with the development, yes? Because like some historical habits. A solo representative of the testing team. So someone who is sitting in the corner, and whenever there is something to test, they're jumping and doing a test, and that's all. Some things need to be to be done right before the release, or the career that's gonna be die in the near future. If you still think that some of the points are true, I will say that it's wrong. Because the sphere is changed, the IT is growing very fast. If we want to be competitive in the market, we should adopt ourselves. All the stuff that we saw here, it's coming from the traditional development life cycle, which is called like the waterfall, which will we will talk about a bit later. So if we take overall what actually the company wants to do. Everyone wants to deliver fast because the market is super aggressive in any sphere. I think there is like the Picsart, which is photo editing. There is, I don't know, some banking apps, etc. All the markets are growing so fast that everyone wants to deliver fast. Again, if we will make a comparison with the life, delivering fast. Let's say, how would you feel delivering fast in these roads? By the way, this is the road to Shushi. It's very dangerous, yes, to drive here very fast. Whenever you think about being fast, you will never imagine in your head like the roads like this. Yeah? So to be really fast, we need to fix the roads, then thinking about like delivering fast. And usually in the traditional methods that we were using, and it was like very famous, it was like testing and correction. What does it mean? So we were testing something, we were finding up some issues, then we were fixing, and then we were like repeating the cycle. So in my mind, if I will compare the same example, it looks like, removing the stones from the road. So basically, in this approach, the quality people are the ones who are just like running ahead of the team and removing these stones and saying like, drive fast. But it cannot be like super fast because there is still actions to remove these stones. I mean, they need to find something, then fix, and then one more step, and it will not be fast at all. The responsibility of the quality engineering for me is the actions and the processes that will create the roads like highways and we can drive fast. So basically these people are not acting at the end, but they are acting from the beginning, building all these like highways to make sure that the team will run fast. How I will come like in the following slides, but let's again to go back, see what kind of the transaction we had during this waterfall and like coming from the waterfall to the agile, because we always need to understand the historical data to behave like the optimal way. As like all of you know about like this agile transformation, we call it agile transformation, the process when we like come from the waterfall and then there was a Scrum, there was a like Kanban, etc., and then agile methodologies. But I know that like almost everyone knows about this waterfall. What it says like it's just a sequence of the like certain actions. I know in lots of companies we still use the process or the elements of this process. What was the problem in this process? It's just a sequence actions of handovers. So I'm done, I'm giving to you. I'm done, I'm giving to you. And one of the last actions is like testing and the deployment is kind of the quality job responsibility. Whenever it fails, who needs to own the responsibility of the failure? Of course, the last one. So who cares what's happened in the beginning? Yeah. Overall, in this, when we take a look at this process, it says like, let's make sure that the failure of the project is not our fault. So every like level of this waterfall, just doing their job, just passing and saying, we are done. We don't care what's going to happen, like the next one. So the purpose of the quality department in this case is verify the specifications. The quality department only interacts after the development. So we say that development should be done, and then the QA will come up with the testing actions. The issues are found very late. And if we think about the shift-left approach, this is very costly and can cost the company like around like 100 times more, like in terms of the cost to fix. If we compare with finding these bugs in the earlier stages. And of course, there's a lot of silos created between this communication because of, as you know, as much there is a handovers, we will have more silos. Like people will just not speak up because they done, so who cares about it? Overall approach of the agile approaches that we accept that we have the multidisciplinary team when we have all the people inside one team. This is why I'm always saying even like QA people should be fully part of the product team. This maybe sounds very odd to you, but this is very important. Starting from the daily actions, finishing with the team events or, going to the lunch, they should behave as a team. Only in this case, we will have fully functional team who will take care of each other. Recently, I heard one of the stories that the team went for the team building and they didn't invite the QA because the QA rejected the story to go to live because they found out a lot of issues. Why? Because QA is not a team member. It's the outsider who is disturbing, who doesn't allow them to go to live. Who cares about the quality? This is our action. We developed, and they didn't allow us to go live. So it's not like we have an issue and we cannot go to live. It's just a finger pointing and giving, saying that it's not our fault. Whenever we behave as a team, like having all, the designer, the product manager, the developers, the front-end developer, back-end developer, in one team, they take care of their responsibilities of delivering high-quality product. And when we overall take a look at the agile processes from the quality side, we can say that let's create the product that will go great because we are responsible for it. There's no outsider. We should not finish the development and give someone else. It's we are the team who is delivering it. And in this case, the quality engineers are helping the product to become great. The quality engineers are involved in the process from the beginning. The issues are detected earlier because they are always in the loop with the developers and all the team. And the presence of quality engineer in the team nurtures positive dynamics. So the team's going to like the quality engineers instead of taking as an evil. So one of the main concepts of the agile testing is shift left. The shift left means that you should start your testing activities as early as possible, even before the development. I know that in lots of places we just wait until there is a functional product, then we will start. In the best, in a good scenario, but in a bad scenario, it will be let's finish, have all the stuff done, then I will start the testing. So basically, we should start as early as possible. What does it mean? We should start planning a testing strategy early. before even the development is started, we can get involved with the product requirement review, which is sometimes called also ambiguous review of the requirement. What can be found there? You will be the first technical engineer who will review this product requirements, which is written by the product designer or the product manager. And you can bring the ideas why this will not work with other components of the application. And you can find the bug in the documentation, in the specifications. You will not wait until this documentation will become a product, and then you will report the bug, and then you will revert it back to correct the specification and then do the cycle again. Whenever the planning is starting, the quality and the testing planning should be embedded to the development planning. I know some of you doing the estimation, the dev estimates and then QA estimate. We have to think together. We should give one estimate for everything. It could sound a bit hard because the QA will say, I don't understand what the developer do. And the developer would say, I don't understand what is QA doing. I had a chance around maybe 14, 15 years ago when I just started to work for one of the American companies. And my first working day as a junior quality engineer, they pushed me to the room and say, you have to estimate. I say, what? I don't know what is the estimation. I don't know what is which process you use, what is it? They say, okay, but we read and we say how many points we are giving. I say, but how? I mean, you don't care anything, you just estimate. And then I say, okay, and we're doing planner poker. The first day I entered, okay, I will do, with a poker face, playing a planning poker. And then there was how is planning poker happening? Everyone estimating hidden, and then 1, 2, 3, we are opening the cards. And there were the estimation 1, 2, 3, 3, 10. Okay, ignore myself, but why you think 10? I don't know, I just put the card because I don't know what you are doing, yeah? And step by step, I understand what are they doing. And after maybe 3, 4 months, I was estimating almost the same as everyone in the team. And when we were estimating, I was estimating when the story will be done, including the development, including the testing. In the planner poker, so if the numbers are very different from each other, the second round going, the guy who was giving the lowest point and the guy who gave the highest point, they are getting rights to speak. And then after the speech, we kind of re-estimating. So the one who said that it's easy and can be done in 2 days, they say why, and then someone says in 10 days, they say why. So what my role was in that team in the beginning, of course, so I was always giving a chance to reevaluate and say it will take a bit more time, It was hitting our velocity, but who cares? But again, this is the way that we have to learn how to estimate, because the estimation is not a skill. I cannot say, let's sit together and I will teach you how to estimate. Who knows? It depends on the product. It depends on the team. And basically how you should learn, you should sit, you should estimate, and you should fail it. It's also testing process. You test your estimation skills as much as you can, and then you're becoming close to perfection, but never perfect. Good. This is something which is very, very important for me. The QA should be part of the planning, and they should plan together, not separate. Even there is issues, you just start planning together, because you are the team, and they had to think about for everyone. Testing often. Instead of saying that I will test when there is a testable item, so this testable is something very to me, but you start testing whenever there is a possibility. You start doing the review of the code. Again, this is also something very interesting. You never say, I don't understand the code if you are in the QA. You always review the code. After the 100 code review, you will understand what is code doing. It's again from my own experience, because when I started, I know coding, but Visual Studio, like it was Visual Basic 6 or something, which was not actual anymore because that was the university was giving to me. But then I started learning Java by reviewing the developer's code. And it's super, super easy. But the first 6 months, you understand nothing. Good. Whenever there is a backend, you can test the API. Whenever there is a very small component, you can test the component. It doesn't mean that you will like open all the bugs like in the beginning when there is very early stages of the product, but at least you will be familiar what's gonna be built. And when you do this intermediate testing, in the end you will finish your task very fast. And of course, you are asking the questions to the developers why you did, shouldn't be like this, shouldn't be like that. And developer he or she is in the code and they can fix it faster on the fly. And your duty is not open lots of bugs. Your duty is to help the team to deliver high quality product. This is something again from my, I remember lots of stories, especially from the interviews. So I like to ask the candidates, who is the best quality engineer for you? And lots of people, not of course everyone, they would say the one who is opening more bugs. It's not. It's not. Because the second question I'm saying, let's hypothetically get to the situation whenever there's two quality engineers and they are dealing approximately, let's say it's not possible in the reality, but they are dealing with the same complexity tasks. They work with them a week and there is a regression testing. One is opening 2 low bugs and one is opening 10 critical bugs. Who is good one? If you think about one who opened the 10 critical bugs, sorry for you, because this is the one who didn't done anything to prevent, but that's the one who did everything to prevent to not have the bugs in the end. And in the end, the team which has low issues can go live faster than the team who has several critical issues. So if we keep in mind that we are holding the role that will help the team to deliver fast with the high quality, we should never count the bugs. You can count the bugs on the product reported from the live, from the production. So if you see that in one place, the production bugs, which is reported from higher than another one, you can judge more or less how productive the quality works in the team, but not the bugs count that open there. Shifting left is also about the automating test as much as we can. Again, API level and UI level, etc. If you are in the QA, I highly encourage you to also deal with automation. It doesn't mean that you will become a super automation guy, guru, but you have to understand what this automation is doing, how it works, and which value it can give to your team in terms of shipping a high quality product. Even you are not a coding expert, but you have very good communication process skills and you can rock in that area. You also can understand what is automation doing and how, what is the complexity of their task that is done. And one by one, you will start just run the test and use the result and then write the test and then you will be involved in it. Prevention instead of correction. This is very, very important that we always think about prevention. We make sure that we'll not allow a bug to get to the regression and then to the production. This is every time we think about the prevention. Let's make sure that there will not be a bug instead of let's make sure there are a lot of bugs and I will open in the end. So this is very, very, very important point of it. Again, I know a lot of companies where the management is counting the bugs And maybe you are one of that like member of the companies. It doesn't mean tomorrow you will not be able, like you should not open the box, but this is like general ideas that you can use the information, to slowly, step by step, to encourage the change in your companies, also in your career. And in the end, it's a team collaboration, which is very important thing. If you are fully member of the team, if you are doing, helping the team, you will introduce very good team collaboration. I remember again, in that first company when I was, they were forcing us to pass the Scrum certification within the 3 months. And imagine myself knowing nothing about the processes, knowing no English, because like 15 years I was learning French, and then like all the English I know is like self-educated. So again, I don't know English, I don't know what is the IT, I don't know what is this Scrum, but they forced me to pass the certification. And I had a manager who was saying, if I did it, everyone can do it. And right now I say, if I did it, everyone can do that, even you don't know English, because I didn't know that time. And I passed the certification, and every time there was like newcomers, they were passing the certification, and the one who was getting the highest point, they were getting the gift card, and I was the one who was getting the gift card. And again, I passed a lot of certifications just to get that gift cards that time, so, because they were encouraging a lot. So, but in the end, I have several certifications. Like the motivation was different. But then, when like years are passing, you recognize that the certifications helps you to get to like better state than getting just a gift card, basically. We talked already about the automation. During the 2021, the World Quality Report, the automation and agile transformations are in the top of the trending topics. So if you want to be trendy, like, innovation, you have to be involved in agile and automation, then you are trendy. This is actually a joke, but basically, if something is trendy, you follow the trend, it opens for you more doors in your career. Basically, so why I'm also encouraging you to jump into the automation, even it's hard, even you don't have like much output there, but one day you will be able to go. So the last part of the presentation and my talk, I want you to concentrate more on the prevention that I was talking about, how we can focus on the prevention. One of the famous prevention processes is, who knows? It's awesome, but this is most development and unit test writing, etc. But the process, not the tool. Something else? Have you ever heard about root cause analysis?
Well, it doesn't work.
Sorry?
Complex informational system root cause analysis is proven not to work by many research.
I have different experience with it. So the first time RCA was used by Toyota, and then it became very popular. So what it's saying, it says that when you have the incident, you can dig to several questions like why it happened, what happened, and let's find the root cause analysis. Like what was the root cause? So and we say like if we had the incident once, if we fix the root cause of it, it will be hard to repeat the same scenario. It's quite complex, it's quite hard, but and it's also a bit hard to implement. But whenever you start using it, you will like feel how it can improve, especially your life as a quality engineer, and how you can also help the team. So don't be lazy. Try to implement it. It will give a benefit. So always, if you do something new, there is a pros and cons, and you can try to find out your average and your winning in the processes. So how it works actually. So the way that we did, actually, we are not like super fast forcing to do the RCA. We say, okay, fix is done. the bug, let's say the hotfix bug is verified and is deployed, then when we have a time to breathe after this stressful situation, let's do the RCA. One of the famous way of doing RCAs is 5 whys methodology. What does it mean? It says that if you answer the why question 5 times, you will get close to the root. And if you fix it, it will be hard to have the repetition of the incident. So this is, I would not say that we have to do for every bug or every issue, but we can do for the hot fixes, for the outage incident, etc., to make sure that we will not repeat it again. So when we ask the 5 times why, it's actually very hard. Even we have using it at Picsart. Sometimes when I'm reviewing all the RCAs, the teams did it and they answer twice why questions. Oh, we find out the reason. We'll fix it and that's all. I said, no, guys. The idea is to answer 5 times, because if you get to the second layer, it doesn't assure that we will not have the repetition. To have one of the examples to be clear how we can do it actually. Let's imagine that there is a website which experienced a sudden increase in the traffic. And as a result, the website went down and was not able to process any transaction for several hours. This is a type of the incident. So we have the outage in the production. So whenever we start the process of the RCA, so the first question, why did the website went down? Because the database was not able to handle the increased traffic. Why was the database not able to handle the increased traffic? Because the database was not properly scaled to handle high traffic loads. So we didn't expect that kind of stuff. Why was the database not properly scaled? Because the team responsible for the scaling the database did not anticipate the level of the traffic the website would receive. Again, why they didn't anticipate the traffic? Because the team did not perform adequate testing on the load testing before the launch of the website. And why the team did not have this testing? Because they didn't have tools. So basically, in this case, if we set up a tools which will do the load testing and test that traffic, the servers can take the traffic and database can hold the traffic, we will not have, again, the same situation. Nothing is ideal in the world, but this is something that also gives the quality engineers lots of room to think, to collaborate, because this is not the action that the quality engineer will do. This is the action that the team should do. In the root cause analysis, there is a lot of good practices whenever you can group your problems, saying this is the organizational factor, this is the testing factor, this is the development factor, and every 3 months, if you see that all your RCA says that you have organizational factor issues 70% of the incident were organizational factor. So the higher management has a tools to concentrate when to improve something. So if it's organizational, then we are putting the vector on that direction. If it's testing factor, we should improve something in the. If it's development, we can do something in the development. Again, it's not super easy, and we do it for maybe 3 and more years at Picsart, and we're still not perfect, and it's totally fine. We try to learn, we just review, and we just try to find out the root causes to prevent the same issues to get to the production. And in our case, we just do the RCS for the hot fixes. Whenever we allow the bug or incident to appear in the production, only in that case we are allocating time to understand what was the issue that drove us to the hot fix. And yeah, that's all that I wanted to share with you. I hope that it was a bit interesting for you. You get some new ideas. And again, whenever you participate in the meetups, never expect to learn something. It's just the exchange of the experience. It doesn't mean that this is the axioma, and it doesn't mean that this will be true tomorrow. Because 20 years ago, lots of people like me were talking about how waterfall is the great process for the software development, and today we are saying that it's a bullshit. So when they say like we will record, I said don't record myself, because after 20 years I will be talking about the bullshit and people will laugh on me. So
but we're all evolving anyway.
So yeah. Good. If you have any questions, I will be super happy to answer and share my experience with you guys.
Raise hands. Yep.
So optimistic speech which breaks with reality. Could you slide to shift left approach? And I think in reality, next slide. Shift left approach, and every aspect, yes, planning, testing, strategy, and look like everything is of kind of this activity. It's not much to Agile, and not much to short iteration, because changes in every aspect of these activities may produce more complicated problems, like automating tests, flaky tests, and environments. Make test environments could be effort much more than just testing, just the software development. Testing often, yes, we have quality gates, we have CI/CD, but when your test is all green and when you decide release software, how often you decide release software when your test is not green or partially green? So you have constantly have trade-offs between your dream about Agile and reality, when you have not a highway, you just have too much kind of activities when different people try to understand how exactly happening.
Yeah.
So
thanks for the question. Yeah, I mean, anything we're talking, especially about the shift left, or I don't know, all the processes I was talking today, that's kind of the suggestion to get to the ideal state, but no one will get to the ideal state. So if in your case you choose 3 of these, bullet points and implement it and find out that this gives you an opportunity to improve, but the automation in your case will not give the opportunity, but it's still okay. I mean, you should not be perfect in every bullet point. I had different experiences in different companies. I was working in the company when there was a single failure. You will not able to merge, you will never get to the release. Never, ever. It's like 100%, no compromises. And it was working fine. And we had a very strong automation engineers team who were dealing with that issue. So we shouldn't have a flaky test. If it's the flaky, we have to work on it. Mm-hmm. So of course there are you mentioned. So my background is strong automation. So I was the principal automation engineer in my previous experience, and I can talk about the automation a lot, especially with that flaky test, with the tools, how to interact with them, how to prevent, etc. But yeah. There is always possibility to do. It's just a matter of the cost. If you want to do all of this, it's still possible, but it's a matter of the cost. And in your case, you should deal with it is it right and correct moment for this company to force all these actions? Again, for the automation, I always say never do the automation because you want to do the automation. You just need to realize, is it the right moment to invest in it. Because let's say when you are just developing the MVP and doing like, happy path automation, I mean, it's totally fine to do unit testing, like integration testing, but whenever it comes to like automating the regression suite, which will like eat lots of time, and then the next day, because it's MVP, we are refactoring everything and all the automation need to be refactored, you should understand, is it right time to do it? So basically, anything was like even in these bullet points. So these are the ideas, how you can shift left. And if you find out that something is not doable in your case, it's totally fine. It doesn't mean that you are doing wrong or you are getting wrong, even in my opinion. So it's totally fine. And if you want to hear the truth, it's not like in Picsart we do all of them. We just aim to do at least some of them. So in every aspect. So this is something that we try and to get to them close to that.
I would add here, it's all reality. It's cheaper to run the company this way. So if you want to change the way you work, if you learn how to do this, then it's cheaper to work like that.
And it's not like going and saying, tomorrow we are working in this way, you will fail.
It's step by step.
It's very like slow actions. And when I joined Picsart 4 years ago, after 2.5 years of doing small changes, I felt that something was changed. And I started to get the first feedbacks that now the quality team is different. But it took from me years to do these changes. Because whenever you jump in and say, this is wrong, let's do this, this is like a potential fail. Because if you say that you guys were doing a bullshit and right now I'm changing everything to do something nice, come on, this team will drive you to the failure. Because just to prove that they weren't doing a bullshitting, Yeah. So every change in the companies, especially in the big companies, need to be done like with a strategic plan, with the small changes, and it will take lots of time.
Small iterations, yes.
Yeah, especially for the RCS, which is like very debatable because it's like consumes a lot of energy and the time. So you cannot like just take the hammer and say this is like putting in a process and it will work. No.
More questions?
I would like to know what is the best time to start automating tests, in your opinion.
That would be very stupid to say today. or tomorrow. Because I mean, you should take several factors to evaluate the momentum. Basically, I have to be a part of the project. I have to be, to be in the planning meetings, to at least to talk to the designer saying, are you planning to like redesign everything? Or I don't know, to product manager, is this feature is final or not? So there are a lot of factors. First of all, I can suggest you several factors that you can take in consideration and then calculate for yourself. First of all, if there is the working MVP, not the testing MVP, and we know that this is the MVP is working and we are building something on top of it. The product is not planning the refactor like next month. And the features that we are starting with automation with, they are ready and functional. I'm talking about the UI automation because like the unit test automation, integration automation, like that kind of automation you can do like from the beginning even. I always suggest to start from the API automation because the changes there are less, and whenever you cover your endpoints, you will cover less in the UI. And if you, I know everyone hates that pyramid, but it's kind of axioma in the testing. So as you are getting tougher, as expensive to run, like the flaky test and brittle test, etc. So the API automation is comparing to the UI automation is more stable. From my experience, when I joined Picsart, the first thing which I did, I say we need a API automation, and then we'll think about the UI. Because on top of this API automation, we also created API helper, and we are using these API calls in the UI to prepare the data. And if you want to be successful in the UI automation, you should have isolated tests. Your test should be like independent. In one of my experiences, I saw like the test like 35 in a class with the priority order. And then, whenever like 25th one was failing, they were putting the breakpoint. They're running the 26th until it will get there. Of course, it was failing in the middle several times to get there. This is not automation. This is like pretending to have automation. So if you want to have them separate, for example, in Picsart, what we do, for every single method, we create the user, we upload the photo, we do something, and then remove it after ourselves. This allows us later to run this test parallel on the multiple. In Picsart right now, for the web, we have around 20,000 web automation UI tests, which are running within the like 40-45 minutes. But this is still scalable. In my previous experience, which I was talking about, we had like no compromises on the automation. We were having 8,000 Selenium tests because it was like huge platform. It was running within the 40 minutes. If it was like 43, whole the company engineering team was like, this automation doesn't work because it starts to like run longer, and we're thinking how we are adding more nodes to make sure that it's around 40 because they are, the 40 is acceptable for the company. I know that in lots of companies, like overnight run is kind of acceptable. At least we have one. So for the Picsart, again, sharing my experience, for the mobile test, we have 1,800 Android tests, which running in our own mobile farm, which is set up here around there, within the 2.5 hours, if there is no major. And for us, basically, there was a level of acceptance. If the 90% tests are passing, it's still acceptable because with the Picsart, it's very hard. There are a lot of image compressions. The pixel is not there. So if we have like 90+% passing rate, the rest is easy. We can just scroll it down and find out, or we can rerun it, etc. So this is like, but this approach would not work for another company because, I mean, there wasn't any pixel ideal feature. It was just business logic. We were covering the business logic, and the tests were more stable then. So basically, you have to take the factors, what you want to achieve. So if you feel that the overnight run, let's say, will be acceptable for the company, you can start. But if it will not be acceptable, and you will start automating, and no one will pay attention and say like, oh, 8 hours, no one is waiting. We are going to production every day. Who will wait for you to run the 8 hours? So in this case, you have to plan according, saying that I need to have this like capability. Like, let's say we have to have Amazon server, which will hold, let's say, 20 parallel run, and then start the automation. It also, you should understand what is acceptable for the current project. So this is very debatable again. So it's not like the straightforward answer saying. Yeah, I mean, but just you like measure the situation and make a decision.
I would also add another possible viewpoint to see how many regressions you have. If you're testing for regressions manually, and if you're spending more and more hours on that, maybe it's just time to automate it.
Yeah. For example, at Picsart, we had a 12-day regression cycle.
Wow.
12-day. Right now, it takes less than 2 because as it's a visual app, we have to check every single stupid things. Mm-hmm. Really, I mean, believe me, I mean, we check every single tools because whenever it doesn't like do its job perfect, I mean, you will have a user complaint. And when you have like 150 million like monthly active users, of course they will report the bug. Yeah, and automating around like 70% of the regression cycle, we reduced by 10 days. Mm-hmm. And we are still on the way of adding more coverage to make sure that we are able to finish it within the day. It also makes like very, very huge sense.
Thank you. One last question, please.
Ask 2 questions together.
Just a quick question. We are witnessing how the technology is changing and developing, and it's really fast. I just want to know, is it already affecting testing, quality engineering, and how is it affecting are we experiencing any changes in all the processes that we already talked about?
Like you are about Picsart or generally?
Overall, because like we are witnessing how AI is changing everything, especially recently it's really trendy, and how it's affecting quality engineering.
My views, I mean, I can, again, this is my opinion on it. You will not feel that. Maybe your grandchildren will feel it. Bringing one example, in one of the conferences, there was an AI guru guy, a PhD staff from the South Africa. He's a cool guy, but it was 8 years ago. I mean, but even like, you know, when we say it's before Corona, it means that it's a very old story. Yeah? It was like before Corona. We were in the conference speaker together, and this guy was asking the question to our audience: how many manual QAs you have here, basically doing manual testing? Like approximately 40% of the audience was like raising the hand. They said, sorry, in three years you will not have a job. But they still have. It's like, you know, 8 years. And I was like debating on that, okay, maybe there is a truth because the AI is coming, but my feeling is not like it's like tomorrow. My feeling is not like, I mean, in several years we will be affected, like ourselves. But of course, keeping updated yourself with the technologies is very, very important. And if you have any ability to use AI technologies in the testing, of course, you can ask GDP, like ChatGDP, to write like test cases for you. He will do it for somehow. I mean, or rephrase something. I mean, if you use them in the right way, of course, it's a good thing. And recently, when this picture generation was released recently, like generate your images and so on, what was my first idea? I was like, this is great. I will generate the pictures for my slides. And keeping the same pattern, because I was paying for all these, you know, icons to have in my presentation right now. I can generate, and I can be owner of that. So saying that I am the speaker who is doing non-AI generated stuff, of course it's stupid, because you will be like outdated tomorrow. And I don't want to be, you know, that old guys who say like who say that your new stuff is bothering me. I will do the old way. I always want to do the new way. So basically, always keep yourself updated. And even if we are in the like pure testing, the way that we were writing the test cases 5 years ago, it's outdated. And the life and the technology is faster. I remember 10 years ago when we were writing the test cases, it was like step by step, like writing everything down, the pixel count, how millimeters right or left. But today, it's like the life is too fast to put that details there. We just write the test plan and going forward, and we combine a lot of stuff. 4 years ago, when we started at the Picsart, we refactored the test suite, and like half of the test cases were gone, because we find out that it's redundant. I mean, we don't need it anymore, because like the way that right now is trendy, which is giving more output, is the new way. So basically, always keep yourself updated with the technology, and always experiment yourself with the new technologies.
Thank you. That's it. We're out of time.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.